My name is Dayanandan Naidoo. I'm from the Technology Innovation Agency. Officially, I'm head of National Resources, which includes mining, sanitation, circular economy. About 3 years ago, the energy portfolio was actually put into my portfolio, so I'm also acting head of energy, and for the most part of 2 years, I've been executive for commercialization also. Okay, that first slide goes. In the Greek wars, there was a general who wanted to attack another country, so he said to himself, I've got limited resources, but how do I go and attack this foreign country? So he took his crew and he took his ships and they went silently into this foreign country. And as they landed on shore, he told his second in charge, go back, since everybody's on shore, just go back and actually burn the ships. And the guy said, but how are we going to go back home? He said, just burn the ships. And as the troops were advancing, they turned back and they said, Captain, we're being attacked. He said, no, I decided to burn the ships. And they said, but why do you burn the ships? He said, the reason that I'm burning the ships is there's no way back. We die here or we win. And that's the comment we got from his army, and they basically won the war. It's also for us in terms of the Technology Innovation Agency. There's no going back in not supporting this program. It's been one of the programs that we found great joy in and that we still will support. I think it's in our 9th year of support, and it's something that we've seen many successes as a flagship program. It's something that we're very proud of the team down here at NMU. It's been led a lot by Edom and by Andrew, and a fantastic team. But why do we have the summit? So 3 years ago, it was decided, because the focus was a lot in basically PE then, now it's Gqeberha, how do we get it into a national footprint? And I was speaking to my colleague this morning, I said, why do we actually want to have this summit? And she mentioned 2 things. Number one, we cannot have it in a silo. We need to get the best brains in the mobility in the country to say, how do we move EV forward? And I could give you all my slides which I prepared last night, and I'll be looking there and I'll be looking here, but what is the significance of the summit? I think it's important that we don't work in our silos, we actually know what each one is doing. But last night I questioned and I said to myself, why do we need EVs? In terms of IC, what we're doing well, EVs are expensive, and anyway for the batteries to produce, we get lithium from Chile, we get cobalt from the Congo, and we get basically the carbide from China. And they all spend a lot of money in terms of the mines, and they also have a lot of CO2 emissions, but why do we need EVs? And I said, something that changed me this weekend when I went for a christening. And I said, what do I leave? So I saw a little baby, my granddaughter, and I said, what do we leave her for the future? Sure, we want to plan, leave a fortune for them, or we want to set a legacy and set up a small trust fund for them, but what do we leave for our children and our grandchildren? We have to leave a world not with money, but we've got to leave them a future where they have a cleaner life, a cleaner atmosphere. Because if we continue in this road, we are going to get much. I was reading last night that Michelle, basically that's moving towards Cuba. It's going to be the strongest hurricane for the past 50 or 60 years. So the world is getting warmer, Europe is getting warmer. Every year, the world's temperatures are increasing. If you look at the average world temperature, about 3 years ago, it was 16.9 degrees. Now it's 17.3 degrees. There hasn't been an increase that was so significant. If you look at it, about close to 5% in the last 1900 years. The world is getting warmer. It's getting colder. There's less water. How do we contribute a little? And then I question, but why do we need to change in Africa? Why do we need to change? Because we, in South Africa, we contribute 1.4% of the world's CO2. Africa contributes 3% of the world's CO2. Yet China contributes 30% of the world's CO2. And United States 14%, India 6%. Why do we have to change? Because that 1% we change is going to make a difference. But if everybody has to think like that, it's going to be, then nobody's going to change. The reason that we want to change to EVs, they have a contribution here, is because the transport sector contributes close to 21 to 33% of CO2 emissions. Each one of us have to do the bit. I know China's moving to a lot in terms of green, hydrogen, and wind technologies, and they've got a lot to catch up in terms of bringing it down. The USA now, with the new administration, I don't think they want to change. Maybe wait another 3 years. Maybe they'll change, but I'm not too sure. There's also plans of, I heard also Trump said, but he could come in again next year, the next term as president. Even the term is only 2 years, but I see the plan, he says that he's going to come in as VP at the next elections, and then Vance will be president. Then Vance resigns in the presidency, and then he automatically becomes president again. So it could be another 7 years of people not supporting green technology. But we have to change in South Africa and Africa, because it's a slow contribution that we're doing. We could actually still contribute towards to EV. So we need to create for the future in terms of partnerships, but we need to deliver that. Also, we need to drive economic transformation and public improvement. Is it urgent that we need to change? Yes. I got 1 yes. Other yeses, no's, maybe. Can I see a hand from this side, please? Yes? Do we need to change? Okay. And we have to change. I told you, because for the future, it's for our families, it's for our children, it's for our grandchildren. So we've got to look at transport as the major source of emissions, which is important. Also, it aligns with national and global commitments. Also, urban congestion. Anybody can tell me what the world's population now is? Come on, somebody's bright. One, sorry?
8 billion, 9 billion.
8 billion, no, I think pushing at 9, but it's 8 billion. 2050, what are we looking at? 9, now it's 8 billion. Are we going to reduce or increase? Increase. So it's somewhere in the 9 billions. It's 9.1, 9.2. Anybody for 9.2? Okay, well, 9.2. 9.3? Okay, it's 9.2 billion. And the year 2100 is going to be projected at 11.4 billion. So the world is not going to decrease. Transport is going to be needed more. So we need to actually have EV vehicles. Is there opportunities in EV vehicles? Yes, there is. Otherwise, there wouldn't be people interested in it. And it's got to be profitable. So that's for urban congestion. Okay, we know what UYILO is basically and what is being done. I don't want to go for a test to ask you what UYILO is, but it's been the core of many successes. And we see that in terms of battery testing, it's the only battery testing facility that we have in South Africa. There have been a lot of success with it, especially this morning actually I was speaking to somebody, said, hey, let's try and revive the Joule. I said, no, that's not going to happen now because the Chinese are producing EVs at much cheaper rates. So I kept his dream this morning, but I think it's a reality. Also, the program bridges government, industry, and research communities. I think that's important. Also, emerging opportunities. The one story I want to share with you. So, in this American gold rush, everyone was focusing how to go to the west of America to say, okay, how are we going to actually create fortunes? So there was one gentleman, he actually crowdfunded with his family, with his friends. He took all his fortune, he went and bought a lease, and he moved towards Colorado. When he went there, he started mining and trying to look for gold. And he put effort about 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. He went up to 6 months, and he was actually getting fed up. So he went to the people that actually supply the equipment, the shovels and the pickles, and he said, guys, you got to help me, I'm really running short of cash. And I could give you my lease as basically as a guarantor. The guy said, okay, I'll support you. I remember something in gold mines, it's not the guy who owns the mine that makes the money, it's the guy who supplies the picks and shovels actually make the money and supply the food. Eventually he gave up. So the guy said, no, I'll supply you another 2 months of resources, continue. And this guy put every effort into digging the seam, but he just couldn't find that reef. And he went back to the guy and said, you know what, I can't find these veins of this gold. I really am tired and I need to go back home. I owe so much of people money, you can keep my lease. And if you basically squash all this account to owe you. And the guy said, fine, you can take it back. So the owner of the lease now, and the guy who produces shovels and picks, he said, what can I do? Because this guy really tried, I'm not going to go down and dig again. So he employed a geologist. And the geologist did his report, but he did his digging, and he came back and he said to this guy, you know what, there's a rich vein of gold here. But it's only 6 inches away from where the guy dug last. And that became a true story with the Colorado gold mine. It's the biggest gold mine in America at the moment, and the richest. And the guy was only 6 inches away from it, and books have been written about it. So it's always resilience on how you push and how you push and how you push. Even if you give up, you just need to get to the end there, because you would never, and the guy walked away, the guy never gave the guy anything, but it just shows if you only put 6 inches more, he could have had the richest, and it's a true story, guys. Try and see on the Colorado gold mine. So the issue here is sometimes in terms of the program and EV, it's tough market out there. And it's really tough out there. And I know the guys who've been supplying batteries are feeling it tough now because ESCOM, I can see my ex-colleague from, I'm ex from ESCOM, but my colleague at ESCOM is still there. Even ESCOM now is producing very well, and there are a lot of power producers, especially the battery suppliers, are struggling. But just keep on pushing, always think differently. Because you never know where you're going to hit your gold mine. And especially in the EV market, it's tough, but just perseverance. We are going to conquer this, and we will actually make it profitable in the different entities. So changes to overcome, I think we need to actually, and how can we have, I think that's very important. Here we've got policymakers, we've got people from different entities, we've got government, we've got research institutions, we've got the DFIs, we've got the public sector and industry. I mean, this is a chance to network and make the impact of the summit really work for yourselves. That ends my speech. It was completely different what I was supposed to say, but thank you very much.